The desert night was silent, but under that silence, history was being rewritten. In a remote corner of New Mexico, a metal sphere pulsed with power beyond anything mankind had ever imagined. Engineers, soldiers, and scientists stepped back, breath held, eyes fixed on the bomb tower. One mistake, and the world would end before the test even began. This is the story of the greatest secret of World War II, a race not fought on the battlefield but in hidden laboratories, guarded cities, and underground bunkers, a race to unlock the power of the atom before Nazi Germany could unleash its own terrible weapon. It began in fear. News of German physicists splitting the atom in 1938 sent shockwaves through the scientific world. If Hitler got the bomb first, no army on Earth could stop him. And so, under the leadership of a brilliant yet conflicted scientist, J. Robert Oppenheimer, the United States launched an unprecedented mission, a project so secret even the vice president didn't know it existed. They called it the Manhattan Project. This is the story of genius under pressure, of moral conflict, of physicists turned soldiers, soldiers turned shadows, and cities built out of thin air. From Alamos to Oak Ridge, from Enrico Fermi's first controlled reaction to the final blinding flash at Trinity, the world was about to change.
The desert night was silent, but under that silence, history was being rewritten. In a remote corner of New Mexico, a metal sphere pulsed with power beyond anything mankind had ever imagined. Engineers, soldiers, and scientists stepped back, breath held, eyes fixed on the bomb tower. One mistake, and the world would end before the test even began. This is the story of the greatest secret of World War II, a race not fought on the battlefield, but in hidden laboratories, guarded cities, and underground bunkers. A race to unlock the power of the atom before Nazi Germany could unleash its own terrible weapon. It began in fear. News of German physicists splitting the atom in 1938 sent shockwaves through the scientific world. If Hitler got the bomb first, no army on Earth could stop him. And so, under the leadership of a brilliant yet conflicted scientist, J. Robert Oppenheimer, the United States launched an unprecedented mission, a project so secret even the vice president didn't know it existed. They called it the Manhattan Project. This is a tale of genius under pressure, of moral conflict, of physicists turned soldiers, soldiers turned shadows, and cities built out of thin air, from Los Alamos to Oak Ridge, from Enrico Fermi's first controlled reaction to the final blinding flash at Trinity. The world was about to change forever.
The Manhattan Project was not just a scientific endeavor, it was an engineering empire. Entire cities were constructed in total secrecy across the United States, places that didn't exist on maps, guarded by barbed wire and silence. Oak Ridge, Tennessee, a valley suddenly filled with hastily built housing, guarded gates, and vast industrial plants. Its mission? To enrich uranium. Giant calatrons hummed day and night, drawing so much power that nearby towns dimmed. Most workers never knew what they were handling. They simply followed instructions, unaware their movements were shaping the future of warfare. Then came Hanford, Washington, home to the world's first large-scale nuclear reactors, colossal graphite-moderated machines designed to produce plutonium. Engineers worked through freezing nights, battling untested technology and constant fear of catastrophic failure. At the center of it all stood Los Alamos, high in the New Mexico desert, the mountain fortress where Oppenheimer assembled a team of physicists, chemists, mathematicians, and metallurgists, men and women who had left behind universities, families, and ordinary lives. Security was absolute. Mail was censored, phone calls monitored. Everyone used code names. Even children growing up inside the compounds knew better than to ask their parents what they did at work. The scale was staggering. Over 600,000 people. Soldiers, scientists, civilians, united under one shadowed goal. Inside Los Alamos, brilliance collided with danger every day. The labs buzzed with scribbled equations, clanking tools, and hurried footsteps. Some minds worked on uranium, others on plutonium. Two paths toward one devastating result. The difficulties were immense. Uranium-235 was incredibly rare. Plutonium, though easier to produce, behaved unpredictably. Early experiments showed it was too unstable for a gun-type design. A new approach was required, something daring, complex. almost impossible. The answer was the implosion method, a plutonium core surrounded by explosive lenses that had to detonate with perfect symmetry. Even a microsecond error would destroy the device prematurely, or worse, fail entirely. Precision became an obsession. Oscilloscopes flickered. Engineers tested detonators again and again until their fingers trembled from fatigue. Meanwhile, theoretical physicists debated the unthinkable. What if the explosion triggered a chain reaction in the atmosphere? What if the world burned? Oppenheimer paced hallways late at night, exhausted yet driven. The moral weight of his creation pressed on his shoulders. But the war raged on. American boys died on Pacific beaches. The firebombing of Europe continued, and the pressure to finish the bomb only grew. The weapon was nearly ready, but before it could be used, it had to be tested. The sun had not yet risen on July 16, 1945, but thousands waited in silent anticipation. Scientists crouched in bunkers. Soldiers manned checkpoints. Cameras stood ready to witness the unimaginable. On a steel tower in the Jornada del Muerto desert sat the world's first atomic bomb, codename Trinity. The countdown began. At 5:29 a.m., the desert exploded with a light brighter than creation itself. A searing flash, a rising fireball, shockwaves rippling across the sands, slamming into bunkers miles away. The earth trembled. Men gasped, cursed, or fell to their knees. One scientist whispered, "It worked." Oppenheimer remembered an ancient phrase, "I am become death, the destroyer of worlds." The mushroom cloud rose into the heavens, towering miles high. The age of atomic warfare had begun. But there was no time for reflection. The test was a success, and President Truman was waiting for results. The war against Japan continued with brutal ferocity. Okinawa had bled both sides. Invasion plans predicted millions of casualties. The bomb was ready. The world was not. In early August 1945, two B-29 bombers prepared for missions unlike any in history. Their targets were Japanese cities vital to military production. Their cargo? A new kind of devastation. On August 6th, Little Boy, a uranium bomb, fell over Hiroshima. At 8:15 a.m., the city ignited in a blinding white flash. Buildings evaporated. Streets burned. Tens of thousands perished instantly. Survivors stumbled through ruins in silence. Shadows burned onto walls behind them. 3 days later, Fat Man, a plutonium bomb, descended upon Nagasaki. Another fireball, another rolling cloud that stretched across the sky like a wound. Japan was shattered. Days later, the emperor addressed the nation, breaking centuries of tradition. The war was over, but victory carried a heavy stain. Scientists who had once debated equations now faced the consequences of their creation. Burned cities, radiation sickness, survivors haunted by invisible wounds. The world had entered a new era, one defined by fear and power beyond comprehension. The Manhattan Project ended the war, but it began something far larger. Nuclear weapons reshaped geopolitics, ignited the Cold War, and cast a permanent shadow over humanity. Oppenheimer became a symbol of conflicted genius. Some hailed him as a hero, others condemned his regrets. His later years were marked by political battles, security hearings, and personal torment. The cities of Oak Ridge, Hanford, and Los Alamos slowly opened to the public. Workers finally learned what they had helped build. Many were shocked, some proud, others horrified. Yet the scientific breakthroughs unleashed by the project changed the world. Nuclear energy, medical advancements, material science, computing. Extraordinary progress born from extraordinary danger. Today, the mushroom cloud remains one of history's most powerful images, a reminder of what humans can create and what they can destroy. The Manhattan Project was more than a military operation. It was a turning point in human history, a moment when the brilliance of the mind collided with the darkness of war, forever changing the course of civilization.